Shalom, sisters. Shalom, shalom. Kahalayim Layahawa Bashem Yahushai for allowing us to see another day and giving us another opportunity to be virtuous daughters of Zion. And in today's video, I just want to talk about something that caught my attention when I was watching TV the other day. And I just want to share a few scriptures that came to mind when I watched this particular episode in the show that I watched. And that's pretty much it. So I'm first going to talk about why and what made me think about these scriptures when I watched this episode before I get into the scriptures. So I was watching this anime called My Hero Academia, and if you guys know me, you know that I love me some anime. Like, any free time that I get, every opportunity that I get, I'm going to sit down and watch me some anime. That's just bottom line. Once I get my priorities straight and get my spiritual priorities straight as well, I'm going to sit down and watch me some anime. So anyways, I was watching this anime called My Hero Academia, and me personally, I believe that this is the best shonen anime that I've seen in this generation. I don't care. Argue with yourself, not with me. I said what I said. Anyways, I believe that this is the best shonen anime because it really triggers every emotional sensor that you have, right? It was a few episodes where I was bawling in tears, not out of sadness, but it was just so sentimental. It was very wholesome. It's a very good anime, and if you don't watch anime, I recommend watching this one. Maybe you'll turn over a new leaf. I don't know, but anyways, I was watching this particular episode. Oh, and before I go into the episode, just to give a little understanding of what this show is basically about teenagers being trained to become heroes in society, where they go to these prestigious high schools in Japan where you're trained to be heroes. So while that's out the way, I was watching this particular episode that made me think about these few scriptures, and I felt inspired to share it with you guys. So in this episode, to give a little bit more background of this show, they have this teacher who is very fierce, right? And he is one of the pro heroes, basically like a hero that's that has status, basically, and that's their teacher. But yeah, this teacher is very fierce. The students reverence him. I mean, once he makes his appearance in the classroom, they all sit down and be quiet because he's not playing with them, right? That's just how fierce this teacher is. And how this teacher trains them is very intense. Even other teachers in other schools, even in this school, is like, don't you think you're going a little too far with these trainings and whatnot? But anyways, we're gonna save that for last, right? Because that's important, right? In this particular episode, they were doing some training before they take the test to get their provisional license. And in this training, they were doing a rescue mission in this ground beta area in the school. It's a setting that's that it is I wouldn't call it an illusion because it's an actual building that they constructed in whatever area of the school, whatever. But the setting of this training is that an underground explosion happened under a mall, and everyone got out in time except for one person. And of course, this person is not a real person. It's like a dummy. It's training, whatever. But anyways, that's besides the point. The students have to come up with a way to rescue this person in a very sensitive area, like the mall. like there was an underground explosion, so of course like the infrastructure is unstable. Like any wrong move, the whole building could collapse, right? This training wasn't as easy and straight to the point as the students thought. So during this process of them rescuing this dummy, an earthquake happens to make the building even more unstable. So with that, one student got hurt. Well, he got injured. And how he got injured was because he was protecting another student from the debris falling on top of her because of that earthquake. Anyways, fast forward with this, with all that. It took 4 students to get this injured student from out the training grounds and get them on surface. That's where the teacher is and the school's nurse. While that was happening, while the 4 students was bringing this student that got injured to the surface, water starts to leak out the walls. And, it's a very, very sensitive environment. The building is unstable. An earthquake just happened. So many debris is everywhere. And now there's a flood going on with all this water springing out of the walls. So all that going on, that's like even more grounds for the building to collapse, right? Because the wood and all that stuff, it starts to mold, it starts to fall apart, all that stuff, right? So the other students were trapped inside and they had to figure out a way to escape out the building before it completely collapsed. Now, the students that were on the surface with the teacher and other staff were complaining to this teacher about the extremity of the training. Going back to what I was saying earlier, where other people is like asking this teacher as to like, don't you think that this training is a bit too much? Like, like this is a lot, for training. And the teacher was like, if you can't handle this much trouble in training, then how will you handle much more when being a hero? And that's facts, because when you watch this show, it's so much in being a hero and all that stuff. It's so many stuff going on and whatnot. So it's just like, if you can't handle all this little stuff, what makes you think that you can handle much more things when you do become a hero, So after the teacher talked with the students, he has this inner monologue where the teacher was basically saying, the reason he built these walls of obstacles for his students is to push them to their limits and have them to become great. And with this teacher, he knows how much his students can handle. He's not going to put much on the students to where they can't handle, certain things. Like, he knew that his students can handle all this. So it's just like, and when I was watching this episode, it just makes me think like the Most High deals with us the same way, and no, I am not comparing this character to the Most High. Like, I'm not doing that, but I'm just saying, like, the relationship, how this teacher has a relationship with his students, how the father has this relationship with his children. Is the same way with the Most High having this kind of relationship with us, So, this teacher, he shows his love and care for his students in a way that most people won't understand. Again, the same way with the Most High. Like, when you go to, like, somebody random and you, like, really try to explain the kind of relationship with us and the Most High and all that stuff, they're not going to get it, especially those that is in the religion of Christianity. They're always in prosperity, they always preaching the prosperity doctrine, and that, the Most High is all love and all that stuff, and which he is, but there's also a balance with him as well. Like, when it comes to our relationship with the Most High, he has to discipline us. He has to, refine us and mold us to become, better individuals, and within that process, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be all rainbows and sunshines and all that stuff. Like, in this walk, you're gonna get hurt. Like, in this walk, you're gonna have to go through things. You're gonna have to go through a lot. So what else? Yeah, in this walk, we have to go through like lots of trials and tribulations and go through a lot of pain. However, if we endure through it all and push through, the result will be us being perfected, And that's all that I really wanted to share. That's all that that came to my mind when I was watching this episode. And I don't know, like, I hope you guys are seeing the correlation that I'm trying to throw down and whatnot. But the scriptures that come to mind, I have Ecclesiastes 7 and 8. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. And then I have Hebrews 12, 5-7. And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. If ye endure chastening, the Most High dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? And then I have Acts 14 and 22, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in faith, and that we must through much trial. Salakia. Let me reread that. Acts 14 and 22, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Most High. And then 1 Peter 1 and 7, that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahushua HaMashiach. And then I have Sirach 2 and 5, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable mint in the furnace of adversity. So if you want the kingdom, you have to endure all that comes with earning it. And then the last two scriptures that I have is 2 Esdras 7, 57 and 58. Then answered he me and said, this is the condition of the battle which men that is born upon the earth shall fight, that if he be overcome, he shall suffer as thou hast said, but if he get the victory, he shall receive the thing that I say. Anyways, that's all that I have. I hope you guys could pick up what I'm trying to throw down, and also, was uplifted and, encouraged and exhorted in today's video. And I will talk to you guys another time. Shalom.